there and welcome to the Labyrinth today. Today we're going to be talking about the colour tangerine, but before we get into it, as usual, I want to thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you for visiting the channel, and if you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe, or at least like and maybe make a comment and let me know whether or not this is the kind of content that you enjoy. And also, I always invite people to put their own comments down, especially if you work in the area of energy and metaphysics. You might have experiences of working with colour that are different to mine, and that's okay, because if you put your comments up, we all learn and grow at the same time. So thank you very much for joining me. Let's get on to it. So, as always, when I'm talking about a colour and its healing properties or the messages it might convey or whatever, I like to speak to the mix of the colour and how that links in with the chakras. So, when we look at the colour tangerine, it's a very vivid and bright colour. It's a mix of the yellow and the reds, of course, because to get the colour orange, we've got to mix red and yellow together. But the more vivid an orange, generally speaking, the more red it's got. But either way, well, with the red, we're looking at the base chakra, as you see in this image here. With the yellow, we're looking at the solar plexus chakra. And of course, the red chakra carries the energies and properties, if you like, of will to live, willpower, directed focus of energy. And then the yellow is about empowerment, being centered, being grounded, with positive, we're talking about the positive function of chakras here. The yellow, of course, is about um, as I said, trust, faith, hope, power. When we are confident about what we're doing and the decisions that we make, we're centered in that solar plexus chakra. So anyway, we can see that the tangerine carries a lot of these properties within it. And the orange, I forgot to miss. Goodness me, I'm stumbling over my words. I didn't forget to miss. I missed. Okay, so when we talk about the orange, it mixes the qualities of the yellow and the red together, but it also comes up with creativity. It's a creative center, and it's also an emotional center, refers to emotional control. And as we move up and develop our awareness and all the rest of it, we become a bit of a master of our own emotions, shall we say. We stop reacting to stuff. When we're faced with a problem, we tend to respond to any problems rather than get all emotional and bent out of shape with it. So now let's look at what the messages and properties and attributes of the colour tangerine mean specifically, as far as my understanding goes, of course. So let's start by talking about the attributes. Tangerine is a very vibrant colour, as you can see. It's not just associated incidentally with creativity, it's also about this vitality. It instills a sense of a zest for life if you've been feeling a bit overwhelmed and bogged down. If your creative talents are dormant, if you've never tried to tap into them, or if you haven't used them for a long time because life's got in the way, just a reminder here that when we talk about creativity and creative talents, it doesn't have to be with a paintbrush. It doesn't even have to be with a pen and paper. It can be anything that utilizes I think it's the left side of the brain is our emotional side of the brain, or the artistic creative side. But either way, it's about allowing ourselves to express our emotions in a physical way. And for each person, it's going to be a bit different. I say to people, look, you might think that you're not artistic or creative, but hello, you're a wonderful cake decorator, or look at what you do in the garden. I mean, these are all things that are creative. They draw upon the creative talents. And the same goes for things like carpentry. Some people think that they're not creative because they're a carpenter, a boilermaker, or I think they call them blacksmiths. I don't know if they still call them blacksmiths. They can be very creative as well because they're making things. They're making things and they're getting results in a fairly quick way. If you enjoy mosaics or sculpture, same deal. These are all creative talents. I'm just throwing these ideas out here because there may be something that you've considered doing, but never done it because you didn't think that you were able to do it. I didn't think I was particularly creative or artistic, but many years ago, I wanted to do something to grow my mind that was away from spiritual, and I was living in an area where there wasn't a lot of access to, to TAFEs and stuff like that. and I had limited options, and I decided to book myself on an art course, and I thought, well, this will be fun. My children, honestly, when we talk about having supportive families, there was no support that day because they all laughed their heads off when they heard that I had actually enrolled in this course. But I will say that we were all very happily surprised, because when I brought home my first canvas, we were all like, oh my goodness me, Mum can actually paint, goodness me. And I could draw. I didn't realise I could until I gave it a go. Now, cast your mind back to the image that I put up before of the chakras and where the red and the orange chakras are. So, when we're talking about the colour orange, we're also talking about the reproductive organs. Some people you will see in places say that it is the red chakra that governs it. Well, use your imagination. Some parts of the reproductive organs are governed by the red chakra, other parts are governed by the orange chakra. And by this specifically with women, our ovaries are placed in the orange chakra area. So when we're talking about the properties of orange, we're talking also about passion and libido. Now, of course, the reasons for this are about procreation of the species. Now, I could put up images, but I'm not sure that they would pass the YouTube censorship. So instead, I just put up this image of a little baby, but it doesn't have to be about procreating per se. It can also be about the act of procreation. I think you can work out where I'm going here. So the bottom line is, if you've been struggling with these kind of issues, including fertility issues, there would be a recommendation based on an energy and the use of colour and for chakra balancing, that you work with the colour tangerine. So the colour tangerine is also associated with warmth. It's got a kind of sunny and joyous component to it. It reflects a richness in life, as well as courage. And I'm doing a lot of ums here today. Sorry about that. Being courageous, allowing yourself to be spontaneous, because let's be real, sometimes taking spontaneous action can be associated with risk. And we are hardwired, I guess, to be fearful of risk. And as I said before, the orange chakra, the sacral chakra, also governs our fear-based reactions. And when it's out of whack, we can be very fearful. When it's more balanced, we're more likely to take some risks. Obviously, calculated risk would be the wise thing to do. But we can work with that and respond to situations that challenge us in ways that create a desired outcome, instead of reacting largely in large, angry, aggressive ways. So where I'm going with this is, the bottom line is, when the sacral chakra is balanced, we're going to feel safer, and we're going to allow ourselves to take more risks, because we feel more secure that those risks are not going to do any long-term damage or nothing that we can't get over. Having said that, with this image here, I mean, that's certainly a risk. I'd like to think that obviously it's not real, okay, it's just an image, but it's an example of, you can see through this image, they're taking a leap of faith and they're actually jumping forward. They've put their fears behind them and they're going to leap that bridge. So yeah, when we talk about the attributes of the orange, it helps to build courageousness by letting go of fear, unnecessary fear. Some fear is healthy. Actually, that's a conversation for another day. I might make a note to put that into my Sunday yarning. But yeah, look, sometimes fears are healthy, sometimes they stop us from leaping forward. So in this instance, we would say that if you are aware that fear is holding you back from achieving your dreams and goals, and you know that your fears are not based on any form of reality, that they're just your fears, then you could work with the colour tangerine as part of building courage, if you like, to take the next step in your life. I should have actually said that being spontaneous isn't actually the same as being impulsive. Impulsive is a whole different ballgame. Impulse is more like, I think I'll go and eat that piece of chocolate that I really shouldn't have. When it comes to spontaneity, it's linked to this intuitive action and determination as well. It's kind of, we can afford to be spontaneous because we actually know at the core of self that what we're about to do is right, or it feels right. And that can be the intuitive action part can be driving home, and then suddenly, you might think impulsively on the first instance, you feel drawn to take a different path home. You might go down another road, or you might actually find yourself driving down another road. I've done that before, where I'm driving down a road and I'm thinking, why did I come down this way? And it turns out that we were just locked into our intuition. There might have been a major pile up on the freeway or something like that. And by taking this detour, you managed to avoid it. Basically, and bottom line is, our intuition is always steering us towards an action or activity that is part of achieving a specific goal on our life path. And as I said, it can be as simple as just getting in the car and driving from A to B, or it could be getting in the car, driving to A to B because there is somebody we're meant to meet or bump into or whatever. And I have met some amazing people in this way, just by following my guidance and finding myself in the right place at the right time. The determination, goodness, I'm stumbling over my words. The determination aspect is about the fact that we all have lots of good ideas, okay? I cannot begin to count the amount of good ideas that I've had that have not come to fruition. They are still to be manifested. And I think we're all like that. So if we have a really good idea that really resonates with us, then we do have to be determined in making sure that we manifest it, especially if we feel that it's part of our life path or our life purpose or whatever. So I like this image that I've put here because it talks about making a decision, being self-disciplined, and being determined. If I wanted to actually make a prime example of this now, I have made a decision today that I'm going to pre-record some of these color videos so that I can get ahead of it, because I always keep at the back of my mind that, what happens if my technology goes down, because I've had so many nightmares with it. What happens if there's a power blackout and I can't get my videos up in a timely way? And obviously I'm building an expectation with people by having them publish on certain days at certain times. So I've made the decision, where I'm going with this, you'll get a laugh out of it, I'm sure. I've made the decision that today I'm going to do X number of videos. I am determined to get there. I've got that determination. I will do this today. Where am I falling apart? On the discipline, the self-discipline, because I find I do a recording and then I go and wander and sit outside, and then it just makes it a very long process if I don't use self-discipline. So I'm determined, I'm going to complete this today, and I will use discipline. Okay, so this is a prime example of how we would use intuitive action, and so glad that I'm working on this video with Tangerine to help me keep my discipline up, if that makes sense to you. Anyway, cracking on, enough about me. So, as a messenger, if I was working with a person in the mental health field, I'm drawing upon my mental health background here when I talk to you. Um, if I had a client that was repelled by or drawn to this particular shade of orange, which we're calling tangerine, I would be asking them a few questions. It would prompt me to ask them questions as part of prompting them to see what they are dealing with. And you could do this yourself. You could ask yourself a couple of questions, Are they struggling emotionally? Are they battling some fear and anger? Are they struggling to respond positively in positive ways to challenges? Are they struggling to articulate their emotions? What else? Are they feeling inhibited and hemmed in? Do they feel that they can't be true to who they are? And is this making them angry? These are all things that you could ask the person. I mean, the other option too, as I said, drawing upon my mental health training, if I had a person who has a history or a diagnosis, say, of bipolar, I might even ask them if they are feeling quite elated, okay, because it might be an indicator that they're about to go on a spiraling manic episode, shall we say, because rather than feeling bogged down, they're heading on that high, which might mean they don't sleep for a week or whatever. So, I mean, these are just some of the questions that you could ask the person or ask yourself. So, if they are feeling bogged down, or if you're feeling bogged down, it might be time to unleash your wild side. And tangerine is a colour that certainly can assist with this. Now, just remember, whether you're bogged down or whether you're elated, it's going to suggest that the orange chakra and the red or whatever, there's an imbalance there, and it's either shifting too slowly, might be a little bit slow, or it might be a little bit fast. So by working with the color, you're actually rebalancing it. So just the perfect balance would be one of the invocation strategies that I would use. But either way, what you could do if you've been feeling bogged down is to, have a bit of a reflection, think about what you could do to awaken the creative aspects of self. And it's not that hard. It's like, sit down, have a think. What is it that you've always wanted to do? What have you denied yourself doing? And have you denied yourself doing it out of fear? If that's the case, and it most likely is, it's time to give yourself permission to do something really wild and spontaneous before your self-doubts kick back in. It's time to let the inner child out to play. So, a fairly simple exercise that you can do is just rub your hands together for a minute, then place them slightly apart. I don't know, maybe half a ruler, 12 inches, whatever. Now visualize tangerine rays of light shining from both of your hands. So it's coming out of the right and left hands. Put one of your hands above your solar plexus, your heart. Put one on your heart and one on your head for a minute each, okay? Just to start activating this orange chakra. And then give yourself permission to go and live your life extraordinarily, as they say. You can also make this affirmation here, which is divine intelligence. I now invoke the awakening of my creative and spontaneous self. I am adventurous and ready to allow fun and laughter into my life. Thanks be. Bit of a pause there. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's what you can do. So, my friends, as you see, sometimes a video is short when it comes to the colour stuff, and sometimes it's a bit longer. Today it's been a bit longer, but that's about all I can give you in regard to Tangerine. Once again, I invite you to put your comments up, and I'm going to say thank you very much again for being part of my journey. I'm going to love you, leave you, and crack on with the next video because I am determined today and I am going to be self-disciplined. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye for now. Ta-ra.